All right, so here's what I've come up with. We don't want every model in the system to generate webhooks, but we do want to be able to define something like this, like generates webhooks. We'll define that on thing and on team and some of the other models. So the point is that when we do that, we check, like we have this list in the application record across all models that inherit from application record. We keep this list of webhooks, webhook delivering models. And when we call this method, we add whatever self is, so that could be thing or team or whatever's calling this method, to the list of webhook delivering models, or generating it. In fact, actually, I should call that. And just to show how this works, once we've added more than one webhook generating model, I want to throw an exception. So when I load team, nothing happens. But when I load thing, you can see that team and thing are both in this list. So that's working as we expect it. And a few things that we need to do. We need to make sure when a model is generating when a model is generating, labeling itself as being webhook generating, we need to double check that the list of events actually lists that particular. Actually, you know what? We can't do that at runtime. We really need to do that. We need to do that as like a migration task or something like that. Oh man, is that the right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the right way to do that. So I'll figure that out after. But we have this generates webhooks. So now on any time an application record is, we have three things, right? So we have model dot created. So after create, generate, create webhook. After save, or after update. Is that right? Does that work? We'll find out. Updated webhook. And after destroy, generate deleted webhook. Let's see if that works. Huh, great, it works. So if I do team.create, it will say, yeah, if I do team.last.save, it'll say no webhook updated. And if I do team.last destroy, it'll say you can't because there's memberships. That makes sense. So if I do team.create, oh, I can't do that. Well, anyways, the point is we know that this is working. So let's do this. So at some point, what this means is that we'll always have to have a method on a given model that points, like that returns how to get back to the team. That's really interesting, because right now the Rails generators will not do that for us automatically, but we will need to do that. We'll need to have some way for every model that descends from team, which all of the webhook creating models will. There will have to be a method called team that will get you back to the team through whatever set of parents get you there. That's interesting. I'm not sure that'll be a dependency for this feature working. So self.team dot, so how's this work? So webhooks outgoing webhooks, create. And how did we create it in our modeling thing? Like this. So we'll just say team. Good. Webhooks outgoing create. What is the event? The event is I know how we can do this. This is great. So actually, you know what? Is that no, it should be, we shouldn't wait for one to have been defined. So we'll do event find by name self.class.name.underscore plus a dot plus, in fact, I never do this. And then in this case, created. So that should do the trick. And then the subject will be self. And then the body will be self as JSON. So, all right. So created, updated, deleted, and it will just use that and then the class name to find the event. In fact, that is actually even better. That would be the better way to, yeah, we don't even have to do this. This is fantastic. We don't have to label thing or team or any of that stuff as generating webhooks. All we have to do is look up whether that event is one of the events that we've defined in the database as being a webhook that is generated. So basically anything that is in webhooks outgoing event, that's what defines whether a webhook is generated or not. We only generate a webhook for events that are filterable, that are defined in the database. This is what allows users to filter which webhooks they receive if they want to. However, even if they're not filtering, we only deliver webhooks that are defined in this table. Oh, that's cleaner. Okay, great. So now check this out. All right, so we don't want a callback like that. So we will specifically call this. And you can see that there was an outgoing. Oh, right. And the reason it's not getting delivered is because there's no endpoint. So here's an interesting bug. If a endpoint, it's only filtering for endpoints that have this particular thing configured. But here's the issue. If an endpoint has nothing configured, then it should get everything. And we're not actually facilitating that right now. So that's a bug that I didn't think of. So when we generate a webhook and we go to deliver it, it's looking for each endpoint that it should try to deliver to. And what we're not accounting for are, it's only doing these joins here. And so and then we should also get endpoints. Oh, that's interesting. So I can actually do this in SQL. So I can do this in SQL by doing a left join. Oh man, this is going to be boring to watch me figure this out. So give me one. Well, you know what? Whatever. Let's just do this. All right. So we've got this event. Thing.created. So great. There are no endpoints waiting for this particular. So if I do, we'll just say this one here, and then we'll add there, we added it. So now we've added thing.created. So if we do this again, okay, now that one comes up. Okay, so, but we also want to create a new endpoint. Receives all webhooks.com. Webhooks. Okay. So we want that now when we go here, we still only get that one because that's the only one that is specifically registered to receive this event. But what we want to do is actually make this sorry, I'm getting a phone call right now that I'm waiting to go to voicemail. There we go. It's gone. Okay, so webhooks outgoing endpoint joins. What we want to do is we want to join on this relationship table. So webhooks outgoing endpoint events on the endpoint events endpoint ID equals the same as wait, it's not a variable. It is the base table, this endpoint table. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm typing anymore. Oh, shoot. Here's what we'll do. This is just not going to work well. Here, we'll just do it like this. Oh man, that's really bad. So we're rewriting this standard join, but it's a left join, it's a left join, which means that it will include records that don't have a record in this other table. They'll return when it doesn't match. But I'm not even sure that this is actually going to work properly. So left join webhooks endpoint events on webhook endpoint ID, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a toSQL. Check this out. Oops. All right. So there we go. I'm actually going to make this a select star. So now we can see everything, and we can see the joined record as well. So we see that there is no joined record here. And now the last thing I want to do in order to test this is I want to I'm going to create another endpoint. And this endpoint, if I do, I'm going to take one of those records that I have of like, and I'm going to make it. All right. So I'm basically taking one of my conditions from an earlier endpoint and assigning it to this new one. So now if we go in here, we've got 3 endpoints. And if you take the last one and you see which events, it only gets thing.updated, but we're working with right now thing.created is what we're looking for. So that's the event that we're looking for. So this one should not receive the thing.created. Now, yeah, so if we do endpoint.all and do map of endpoint.events.map name, you can see that one of them should receive created and updated, and one of them should only receive updated. And so, and one should receive everything because it's not filtering. And that's what we're trying to do in this SQL query. So, there's no way around how ugly that is. Let's see what this does. It returns all of them. Well, that's no good because you can see here that it is returning filters for all of the events. So we haven't put a filter on yet. So let's do that, where the event ID. Oh, but the good thing is it only returns a blank record for the one that has no filters. So this is going to work. So where webhooks webhook outgoing endpoint events dot event ID equals, let's find out what it is. 1, right? That's the one for thing created. So, oh no, it's only returning the 1. So what do we do? Easy. Or null. Wait a minute, why is that not working? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Oh, is empty. Right. Sorry, man. This is... whew. Is null, not equal. Wow, it's... yeah, you can tell how often I do this low-level SQL stuff now. This is digging in real deep back to when, you know, I used to actually do a lot of this low-level SQL stuff. There it goes. So now it filters out the one. So now we got to, and it goes to the one that receives all webhooks. So we got to translate this back into the original. So In fact, I'm going to get rid of these quotes because we don't need them in this query. So we've got that part down. And let's see if we get the same result that we expect. Boom, we get it. Not bad. So that was nice. It's helpful sometimes, I think, to write it as a raw SQL query because you get a better look at the actual results that are being pumped out. So you can reason about the logic a little better, and it's less likely you'll introduce a bug. So there we go. We've got this all. That looks nice. So now we can update the receiving endpoints. And the one has to be replaced with event ID. And now we are good to go. So now that we have that in place, we have a couple of endpoints that are going to receive this created thing, because until now we only had endpoints that were listening for updated, but now we have created in place. So we can do this, reload thing dot, or team equals, the first team dot things dot create name, send a webhook, and let's see what happens. It worked. So receives all webhooks.com on 443 did a error, which we would expect. And the other one did a what, 200? Nope. Our server's down on localhost 3000, so that didn't work. Great. But the point is, this is working. Now all we have to do is register all of our any models that we want to deliver webhooks. We just have to add to the seeds file and make sure that we configure those. So let's we'll do that again.